Let's design a new slip casting form by making a mashup between this form and this form here. Hi, I'm Kent. In this video, I want to go ahead and do some design work creating a new form to use with Shapecast. Shapecast will let me go ahead and draw the profile of the pot that I want and create all the files I need to 3D print to then pour plaster mold. The printing and the plaster will come in a different video. Right now I want to focus on the design. Both of these are forms up on Shapecast that I designed. This one here is a tall, slender cup. I have some versions of this with handles on it as well. This one's just a tumbler. And then this one was designed to be a 12-ounce mug. And obviously there's a handle on here. And I have the tumbler version as well. The handles can be attached or not separately. Those are different molds. It turns out that both of these are actually 12-ounce mugs. And I've been living with them for a while. I like the shape of this one. I like that it's a little bit wider and a little bit shorter. But for this one, I like the curves. I like the swoop on the outside edge, and I like the foot a lot better compared to this one. So what I want to do is basically smush these together and create a form that is kind of this shaped with these curves. Both of these started life as a sketch, basically as a 2D profile representing the shape of the pot. In other words, a plan drawing. So this curve here is an exactly 2-scale version of this pot. It's the profile along the foot, all the way up to the lip. And this one exactly the same. It's got the little swoop for the foot, which is right here, the little curve here for the break, and then again the curve going up to the top. To design our new form then, I'm basically going to take these two curves and manipulate them to get what I want. I want something kind of this height and width, but it has the profiles much more similar to this. These are actually both 12 ounces despite their different shapes. When you put this into Shapecast, it will create a bunch of files for you, and some of them, one of them is a README. So here are the READMEs for the two different forms. This is, as I said, this is created by Shapecast. It will do a volume estimation. It's dependent upon a variety of factors, but it basically says these are both 350, 360 milliliters or just over 12 ounces. That's assuming a wall thickness of 4.5 millimeters. I think both of these are turned out to be a little bit thinner, so we should have some more volume. Let's go ahead and measure it. I haven't measured these, and I'm curious basically how big they are. Are both of these 12 ounces? So we're looking for like 350, 360 milliliters. That way we can measure this with weight. So I got my scale out. Let's start with this one here. Turn it on so it tears. Got some water. So there's 360, and we're getting close to the top, so it looks like we are indeed a little bit bigger. So that's about to the brim there. You wouldn't actually want to fill your cup up that much, but that's the volume of the pot, so around 400 milliliters. And this one, we'll re-tear it out. And very similar, we're very close to 400 milliliters. So in addition to changing the shapes so they more or less match, I want to go ahead and try and keep the volume as well. That's very similar. That may require going back and forth with Shapecast a few times, but I can show you how that works. Let's go ahead and jump into the computer and we can design the new form. Here's Shapecast, shapecastmolds.com. If you go over to the gallery, you'll see a bunch of designs that I created, and it has our two examples on there. So first there's the cup, there's this one here. This is the same profile, has a 3D rendering, and I have some photos of me making it. We want to go ahead and download the SVG. And then if we scroll down, there's also the 12-ounce mug. So same thing, this is our mug form. I'm going to go ahead and download this SVG as well. All right, and I opened those both up in Inkscape, and for this one I went ahead and renamed the file. This is the one we're going to work on. So let's go ahead and copy this shape here and paste it into here. And we want the bottom to align. Let's go ahead and align this to the page. To align and distribute relative to the page, I want the bottom and the left. And we'll go ahead and resize the document to the page. That doesn't really matter, but makes it easier to see. All right, so here we go. This is what we're working with. So we need to pull out the blue one just a little bit and make it shorter. And we want to kind of keep the blue foot. So I'm going to make a copy of this one. Let's change the color. Make it a bright green. And we can move it around and see what it looks like. So I use the node editing tool here, and I want to insert a few nodes. So I want to get to a node that's right about here. There's probably a better way to do it, but there we go, that one's pretty close. So now I can delete this. So now I can delete this node here, delete this node here. So now we're pretty close to the top. We've swooped in a little bit, so we might need to go a little bit taller, and our foot doesn't go all the way out. Let's go ahead and drag this one over. Go ahead and make this 0x. All right, so this is looking reasonable. So we've kind of got the same shape. The foot's very similar. I think it's a little bit flatter curve, but that's okay. We've got the same break here down at the foot. And then we kind of go swoop up and out, similar to the blue one, but we're more the size of the kind of burnt orange one. So we can't upload this directly to Shapecast right now. It expects only one profile in the pot. So let's save this, and we'll make a copy. So redesign, call it test. And then in the test file, we can delete everything except for the green line. So we'll save this. I'll go to Shapecast, go to create, and we'll choose the file. There's the test. It loads, we don't get any errors. Looks pretty good. Looks like we're about 100 millimeters tall. You can zoom in or out if you want. Got the same foot profile. All right, so this is looking good. Let's go ahead and tell Shapecast to process the file. Right now we're just going to look at the design proof, so these other things don't matter. The wall thickness matters. I'm going to go ahead and keep it the same as the other ones, even though my walls are actually a little bit thinner. So submit it for processing. This goes ahead and puts it into the queue. Depending on how busy Shapecast is, it will take a little while to do that. We go over to designs. It's processing the proof. All right, the proof is done. So I'm going to go ahead and download this file here. So it gives me a zip file with two things in it. The first thing in it is the proof itself. So this is a 3D model of the cup. The other ones we're curious about is the README here. So this now says 11.5 ounces or 340 milliliters. So we are a little bit small. So we're going to do this again. So let's close this out. We're going to hit cancel. We don't want to proceed with the design proof. So I'm going to open up the one with all the different lines. And so I think I've got two options. I can make it a little bit wider, or I can make it a little bit taller. I think I want to make it just a tad wider. Foot again, let's make this go to 0. So basically moved it over about 1 millimeter. Probably do some math and figure out exactly how much it is. And I think I'll move this up just a tad. That way the curve matches the blue one a little bit more. If we want, we can make these lines thinner. And we can zoom in now. So the green's the new one. I want that to kind of mirror the blue. Yeah, it looks pretty good. Just harder to see zoomed out. So we can put those back, make it a little bit thicker just so we can see. All right, so I'm going to save this. And we're going to take the new green curve and put it in the new file. Let's go ahead and put it at 0, 0. Save it. Go back to Shapecast, grab the new file. It basically looks the same, not surprisingly. Process it again. All right, so now we have a new zip file, so we'll download that. And then we can check out our README again. So now we're slightly bigger, but I'm okay with that. The thickness of the wall is going to have a way bigger impact on the final volume. So tweaking it back and forth a ton probably is a little bit futile. So we'll go ahead and proceed. Now Shapecast will go ahead and do the final 3D print files. However, before we go ahead and commit to those, I am going to want to go ahead and print this out. This is the design proof. And that way I can actually feel it and see what it's like in my hands. Let me go ahead and do that and we can check it out. And here it is, fresh off the printer. I think we have accomplished what I wanted. We have the shorter, wider shape, and we have that similar curve, both for the side walls and towards the foot. And for comparison, here are the other design proofs that I made before I went ahead and made those other pots. So this is the one where we're mimicking the curves. I think that's pretty good. And here's the one that's a very similar size. If I set them down, maybe a slight difference, but that'd be hardly noticeable. And again, next to the real pots. And the nice thing about the design proofs is that they're printed to scale, so this will be the size of the actual cup. However, the wall is thinner. That's just so it prints fast. I'll call that a win. I was able to go ahead and modify that design. The next video, I'll go ahead and print out the molds and we can make some plaster and try the pot out. If you have any questions or comments, let me know. Thanks.